Okay, so in this little video we're going to look at tamper-proofing and weatherproofing. Not so much about how we go about building it, but the results of what we do. So I'll just demonstrate here that we have in fact two systems in place to protect the message, the sign, from tampering, but also to protect it from the elements. So UV, for example, heavy wind, constant winter rain. Without the tamper-proofing and weatherproofing screens in place, your letters would simply just blow out of the letter channels. So I'm just going to grab a couple of letters here at random. LPM 22. So I'm just going to ping these in place just randomly across the board. So of course your message would be going the entire length of this board. So I'm a bit casually dressed today. It's been quite a warm day in the workshop, so hence I have somewhat underdressed for this video, but never mind. Right, okay. So this particular board, we have two screens that slide into place. One from the left, one from the right, and they'll meet in the middle. So imagine that's our new message. We then grab our screens. Now the screens that we use are 2mm Perspex, and we've had cut little circles. Maybe you can just see that. An aperture there, one aperture in the middle, and then one aperture right at the bottom of the sheet. So we've put 3 apertures in place because the screens on this particular board are particularly deep. I think we're about 880mm in depth. So you'll now see that we've got the screen and we're sliding that into place, and as it goes across it is avoiding your message, so we're not interfering at all with the message. Now that's achieved because our bottom track and our top track are what we call double capacity. So let me just see if I've got a piece down here to show you guys. Here we go. So our double capacity track looks something like that, you see. So the letter goes in the inner capacity, that one, and then our Perspex screen goes in the outer capacity, that one there. So, message in, we then slide the screen into place, and you should be able to see that the apertures line up with these bolts that we've had put onto the metal board. And then we slide the other screen into place, and again they sit perfectly over the bolts, and then we need to bolt the screens down because the screens can be easily taken out, and believe it or not, on a very hard winter a heavy wind will also pop those screens out, so they need to be locked down, and we do that using 2 different devices. One's called our these ones are called our weather bars. So let me demonstrate first how this system works. So we use a screw system called hex. There we go, you can just about see that there. And hex is a deterrent because you can't use a standard Allen key to get this screw undone. You'll see there's a little raised part in the centre, and that prevents an Allen key getting in. So a hex key, if you can dig one out, a hex key looks something like this. There's our hex key, just, where are we? Just there, so you can see that. But that's our hex key, see it's hollow. And that marries up with that, and that allows us to turn. So, you'll get supplied spacers, these black spacers. Now there's a good chance you'll lose these in long grass. So we do send out with the delivery extra bits and pieces. So, let me just demonstrate on this middle nut here. The spacer has a small aperture and it has a larger aperture. Small, large. We put the larger aperture over the housing, and we then put our hex screw into the housing, and all we're doing here, we're using the hex wrench and we're just tightening that up to a point where it starts to bite, such as there. And that is all we need to do. We don't want to over tighten it and put too much pressure on the 2mm Perspex screens. So there's 1, 2, that one pops down there like so, and then 3, this one here. That one pops over there. So there are 3 housings that are now all in place, so it doesn't take long. But then, to prevent wind getting under the screen, or indeed somebody wishing to pull that screen off, we then put across these bars. Okay, some of us call them storm bars, and all we do with these is you'll receive 2 different size screws. You'll receive longer screws for the outer housing, and you'll receive smaller screws such as this one here. That's our larger screw. Whoops. That's our larger screw for the outer housing, and this is our smaller screw for the storm bar. And then all we're going to be doing here is exactly the same again. Place over the housing and then simply tighten up. You don't actually need to undo this thing all the time. So that is tight on there. This one pops on here. That one pops on there. Like so. Okay, and there we have it. Hopefully you can see all that. So when it comes to undoing the screw, there's no need to completely dismantle these storm bars. Just loosen them off so they spin round, and that's literally 1 or 2 turns, that's all you need. And then we unscrew our housings at this end. 1, 2, there, 1, 2, and then the third one here. Like so. That's everything now off. That's spinning nice and freely, no need to undo it completely. And then you'll find that your screens simply slide out like so. So actually, once you get the hang of it, you'll find that you'll be able to change your message, get your screens in and out in next to no time. So that is our weatherproofing and tamper-proofing for an outdoor fixture board, menu board. Okay.